Hello, welcome to Learn English and Practice with Marie. Today we're going to do Advanced Vocabulary Builder, lesson number 129. We'll go through 10 advanced words and talk about their definitions, parts of speech, and review a couple of examples for each. We'll finish with a story so you can hear the words in context and do a quick review. This is a series, so if you like this video, subscribe for more. I also started releasing shorts, so if you're interested in seeing a word of the day, go ahead and check those out. Let's get started. First, I'll read the words. Reverberate, dire, confide, quantitative, diversification, opine, clout, turbid, postulate or postulate, conducive. First, we have reverberate. This means when referring to a loud noise, be repeated several times as an echo. When referring to a place, appear to vibrate or be disturbed because of a loud noise as a verb. And it can also mean have continuing and serious effects as a verb. So here we can be referring to sound. So if you're in a canyon and you shout a word, you'll hear that word echo and the sound will reverberate. You can also use it to refer to lasting and pervasive effects. Take, for example, the devastating earthquake in Haiti in 2010. A lot of the effects of that earthquake still reverberate in the country, because people lost their homes, livelihoods, lives were lost, and those impacts have lasted, even though it was a decade and a half ago. Examples are, the loud crash seemed to reverberate through the entire building. The news of the merger would reverberate across the whole industry. Dire. This means when referring to a situation or event, extremely serious or urgent as an adjective. When referring to a warning or threat, presaging danger as an adjective. So something that's dire is very serious. It's a big deal and it is very impactful, often in a negative way. So if someone is going through an eviction and is about to be kicked out of their apartment, that is certainly a dire situation. Their livelihood is severely impacted and they might not have a place to go. So that is very serious. Examples are, the refugees were in dire need of food and shelter. The doctor gave him a dire warning about his health. Confide. This means tell someone about a secret or private matter while trusting them not to repeat it to others as a verb. Trust someone enough to tell them of a secret or private matter as a verb. So to confide in someone is to tell them something private, something that you wouldn't share widely. So take, for example, a woman who is pregnant. She might confide in close friends that she's pregnant before telling other people. Also, someone who has a secret might decide to confide in someone else and share that secret just with that person. Examples are, after weeks of hesitation, he decided to confide the truth to his friend. He needed someone he could trust to confide his fears to. Quantitative. This means relating to, measuring, or measured by the quantity of something rather than its quality. It's an adjective, and there are additional linguistic meanings. So I know this word best through the context of research. So when you're doing research, there tends to be two main types, quantitative and qualitative. So quantitative research has to do with data, numbers. It can involve the analysis of survey data that can be quantifiable, and qualitative research is not quantifiable. It tends to focus more on understanding context, on understanding textual information and on extracting meaning. Examples are, they relied on quantitative analysis to measure the company's growth. Without quantitative evidence, the argument was easy to dismiss. Diversification or diversification. So this means the action of diversifying something or the fact of becoming more diverse as a noun, the process of a business enlarging or varying its range of products or field of operation as a noun. So notice this word, diversification, diversity, those are very similar words. They share a root. And here we're talking about adding variety. So an investor might decide to diversify their stock portfolio because diversification can mitigate risk. So instead of holding all of one stock, for example, Apple, you might decide to diversify and have a variety of different stocks or ETFs. Examples are, the company's diversification into new markets helped it survive the recession. Diversification of crops made the farm more resilient to drought. Also note, there are two ways to pronounce this word, and I, as a native speaker of American English, have noticed that the two pronunciations are used interchangeably. Opine. This means hold and state as one's opinion. So to opine is to really dig into a perspective and defend it, and often implies doing so in some detail. I might, for example, opine that public education should be prioritized and that diverting funds to private education and to religion-based schools in America is problematic. Examples are, he liked to opine on politics even when no one asked. Many experts opine that the economy will recover slowly. Clout. This means pull, influence, as a noun. A blow, especially with the hand, as a noun. To hit forcefully, as a verb. And there are additional meanings related to cloth. So an interesting thing about this word is that it has a lot of meanings that don't seem to do much with each other. There's a lot of variety in terms of the meaning of this word. However, the way that I typically hear it and the way that you will probably typically hear it has to do with that first meaning. So pull or influence. To have clout means that you are important and that your opinion has some sort of sway in whatever circle you're existing in. So a professor might co-author a paper with a graduate student to give that paper clout, to lend their reputation, and to make it so that that paper is better respected. Examples are, the celebrity used her clout to promote important social issues. Social media influencers often have surprising clout over young audiences. Turbid. This means of a liquid, cloudy, opaque, or thick with suspended matter as an adjective. It can also mean confused or obscure in meaning or effect as an adjective. So pond water might be turbid. It might be dirty, murky, and if you try to look through that water and see the bottom of the pond, you really can't because the water is turbid. You can also use this word more figuratively with that second meaning. So if a situation or a conversation is turbid, that means that there's some murkiness, some confusion, some ways in which the conversation is problematic. Examples are, the river became turbid after the heavy rain. The discussion grew turbid as tempers flared. Postulate or postulate. This means suggest or assume the existence, fact, or truth of something as a basis for reasoning, discussion, or belief, as a verb. A thing suggested or assumed as true as the basis for reasoning, discussion, or belief, as a noun. And there are additional ecclesiastical meanings. So this word has to do with making an argument on the basis of something that's assumed. So you have to make an assumption in order to postulate on something. Or you can see there's these two pronunciations that have very similar meanings. A postulate is the argument that's based on an assumption. To postulate is to make that argument based on an assumption. So if I started to think about the ocean, which we know is vast and largely unexplored, I might postulate that there is intelligent life that has not yet been discovered in the ocean because I know that dolphins and octopi are quite intelligent, and because we haven't explored most of the ocean, there may be other creatures that are quite intelligent. Examples are scientists postulate that life could exist on other planets. The professor asked the students to postulate possible solutions. Conducive. This means making a certain situation or outcome likely or possible as an adjective. So if you're a student, you want to be in an environment that's conducive for learning. You want to be in a quiet and peaceful environment. Examples are, the quiet environment was conducive to studying. They arranged the seating to be conducive to conversation. So let's read a story so we can get some extra practice with these words in context. Beth was a chemist whose latest experiment caused concern to reverberate through the entire research community. Her findings revealed a dire risk of chemical contamination spreading through local water supplies, making it hard for her to focus with the turbid uncertainty hanging over her. She decided to confide in her mentor, Dr. Ramirez, sharing not only her fears, but also her meticulously collected quantitative data, which strongly supported her claims. Beth began to opine in internal meetings, arguing that a diversification of purification methods was necessary to prevent disaster instead of relying on outdated filtration systems. Despite her young age, Beth's growing clout in the lab gave her a voice in important discussions, and she used it carefully. She worked late into the night to postulate new chemical treatments that could be conducive to cleaner water without introducing further toxins into fragile ecosystems. Some colleagues initially dismissed her as alarmist, but Beth's passion and precision eventually won them over. Thanks to Beth's work, the team secured funding to overhaul local water treatment facilities, ensuring a safer, more sustainable future for generations to come. Let's review these words and I'll spell as we go. Reverberate. R-E-V-E-R-B-E-R-A-T-E means to be repeated as an echo or appear to vibrate, or it can mean to have lasting effects that are significant. Dire, D-I-R-E, is an extremely serious situation or something that's a warning for disaster. Confide, C-O-N-F-I-D-E, is to tell someone a secret or something private. Quantitative, Q-U-A-N-T-I-T-A-T-I-V-E, means relating to measurement or quantity. Diversification or diversification, D-I-V-E-R-S-I-F-I-C-A-T-I-O-N, is the act of diversifying something or the process of getting a larger range of products or things in order to add diversity. Opine, O-P-I-N-E, is to hold and state one's opinion. Clout, C-L-O-U-T, has several meanings, but the most important one we reviewed is pull or influence. Turbid, T-U-R-B-I-D, is when referring to a liquid, cloudy, and opaque, or more figuratively, it can mean confused or obscure in meaning. Postulate or postulate, P-O-S-T-U-L-A-T-E, is to make an argument on the basis of something, or it can refer to that argument itself that is based on something. Conducive, C-O-N-D-U-C-I-V-E, means make a certain situation or outcome likely or possible. So again, those words are reverberate, dire, confide, quantitative, diversification or diversification, opine, clout, turbid, postulate or postulate, conducive. Great job today. There are other videos like this on this channel and more are coming soon. I'll put playlists and videos right here, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.